It was announced today that YNW Melly's retrial is officially set for October 2nd. A new jury will be selected on that day. However, YNW Bortlen's trial also starts on October 2nd. It was shared that prosecutor Christine Bradley wants to try YNW Melly and Bortlen together at the same time for the second YNW Melly trial.
Today, or you don't want to pick a date, you want?
Let's pick a date. That's October 2nd. That's also the date of the road tenant, so we can try them together.
You do it on October 2nd?
Well, we can't try them together because they're seeking on our one, and they're not seeking on the other one. And Judge Siegel indicated that he was not going to do dual juries. And I know there was, many years ago, the trend to do dual juries. But for the last, I think, 3 to 5 years, it's been shown that it takes longer and more complicated and raises more issues to have dual juries. So I certainly object to that.
YNW Melly's lawyer is trying to reject the chance of trying both Bortlen and Melly at the same time. This is due to YNW Melly facing the penalty versus Bortlen just facing the potential of life in prison, as we would then see YNW Melly enter the courtroom wearing an orange jumpsuit. However, we would then see an interesting report of, I have no idea why Christian Bradley wants Bortlen and Melly's case tried together. Their cases have already been severed, and I know she's gonna try some sneaky stuff on this next trial. As a reply, it would share, does she have any more evidence to show Bortlen helped Melly? It might make the case slightly more compelling to a jury. This is what a lawyer would reveal, that trying the two together would be a slam dunk for the prosecution.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to that way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on, but I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
After hearing the prosecutor's plans to try them both together in trial, it starts to put the pieces together, as when the YNW Melly trial was over, new parts of the YNW Bortlen interrogation on the night of the crime in 2018 would be revealed to the world, where you can hear YNW Bortlen alleging the drive-by occurred due to street members in their area being jealous.
Let's talk about why. Are you having issues with anyone?
I mean, we are upcoming artists and stuff, so people like, you know, when you like start doing better than people, they start hating and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
So you had some jealousy issues?
Yeah, it's like jealousy issues, but gotten it. I haven't really been on there, but like he like my friend that's way now, God bless, he was telling me like, right, he always was telling me about how people, just like today he was telling me some folks from up our way.
What's up your way?
Like Vero
Beach?
Beach, like that's where I used to stay. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up there. So that's our hometown. You know what I'm saying?
So what did your friend say about from Vero Beach? What was he saying to you?
He was saying basically just like they were on like Instagram, Facebook, like.
As this was never revealed during the YNW Melly trial. However, it does relate to an interview 100K Track, aka Melly's manager, said during the Melly trial, where he answers the question of why he believes it was a drive-by.
Who would want Melly and his friends? Did anybody ever him and the other guys before this happened? You know, Bortlen said this was a drive-by.
When you in the limelight and you're making money and things like that, you're gonna receive hate. You're gonna receive, things from everywhere, from people you know, people you don't know, people who probably feel obligated or feel, you know what I'm saying, entitled to things, people who might not even know you from the campaign and just don't like you. So, you know, as an entertainer, your life is always, your life is always being somebody or someone.
Around the time of the crime happening, YNW Melly's music career was beginning to take flight. He was also, though, continuing to record at a very local recording studio, so it's very possible someone could have known the location of YNW Melly at the time of the crime, as while at the time of the crime, YNW Melly was being recruited by 3 street teams according to cell phone evidence. However, 100K Track would get into more detail about if it was a drive-by during his interview, and who would have done it.
That, you know, Bortlen said this was a drive-by. Have you ever thought about who would have done something like this?
It would have been, it would have been so much people, you know what I'm saying? Like, not would have been, it could have been so much people, because, like, at the end of the day, this man was, like, you know, had jewelry, you know, had a large sum of money and things like that, and don't know where it could have came from, but I do know it came from somewhere, and, you know, maybe one day we'll use our resources to find out who really did it and bring justice to
the answer of knowing that YNW Melly had cash and jewelry on him at the time at the recording studio could easily be a valid reason for somebody wanting to target him. Florida is known to be a very high crime area. Knowing a group of rappers are at a local studio with stacks of cash and diamond jewelry is a golden ticket for many street members. As later on in YNW Bortlen's interrogation, the police officer would then ask, "If you know who did it, would you tell me?"
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS, okay? And it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay? You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I wouldn't want to be.
YNW Bortlen does not give a firm yes or no using his voice. Instead, he's seen shaking his head no. This is because if he knew it was YNW Melly who did this crime, saying no to the officer with his voice could have caused his voice to either crack or could have caused his voice to be at a different volume than what he was using for the rest of the interrogation. This would have been a clear indicator to the police that YNW Bortlen is lying and that he knows a lot more than what he's currently sharing. The police officer would then want more details of the in-the-moment actions that were made during the drive-by. How was Bortlen driving? Did he crash into anything? Did he see license plates or faces, etc.?
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
While YNW Bortlen was trying to explain to the officer the actions that he was making, stating that he wasn't paying attention, he was trying to get out of the way, it was very clear that he was lying, as the officer states that he believes he knows what happened, but he doesn't want to say it. This is due to the Jeep that they were driving in. It doesn't look like a regular vehicle that has gone through a quote drive-by. As Sergeant Williams would also reveal, while investigating the vehicle, he realized there is zero chance this could have been a drive-by.
Assignment, which is to determine if this is a drive-by. And my determination was that this is not a drive-by. And it's based upon this picture here, which is a very good picture to describe it. All of these rounds are done. One is done at a stationary position. At a stationary position. when all but one of these rounds are going in. The one round that has some movement in it, which is round site L here, the actually moving in that to create the little bit of a that you see there.
Okay, a lot of information in that answer, so let's break it down a little bit. You mentioned so I'm gonna zoom in on site F.
As that is Sergeant Williams, a 20-year veteran in his field, highly respected and knows exactly what he's talking about. He took note of every single hole inside of the car, and then he used what is known as the stick method to figure out how the holes were created and from which angle. Surprisingly, the angle from YNW Melly's seat in the vehicle would end up sharing a perfect match.
Number, you said 17 outside the car. How many rounds were inside of the car?
3.
And can you exclude the for Mr. Williams and Mr. Thomas as coming from outside of the car?
Yes. From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that Christopher Thomas, where did that emanate from?
Driver's side back seat.
No. Is it possible for there to have been 2 inside that car?
No.
Why not?
There is no time.
With Sergeant Williams guaranteeing to the jury this crime must have happened from the person inside of the vehicle on the left back seat, the prosecutors would then call up YNW Juvie's mother to the stand, where it was her job to confirm who was sitting where inside of the vehicle.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Positive 21915. Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Mm-hmm.
And is that a yes?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Jamel.
And Jamel, is that the defendant, Jamel Demons?
Yes, ma'am.
With the jury now hearing the crime must have happened from the person inside of the vehicle, we would then see YNW Juvie's father revealing that he believed YNW Melly was guilty ever since the beginning.
From the day one, I believe that Melly was responsible for my son on October 26th when I first heard the story, because his explanation when I finally talked to him and Cortland on a FaceTime, their response and how they was reacting, they showed no remorse. They didn't act like they was grieving, like they lost a best friend or nothing. They was, in my opinion, they was in the best spirits. They wasn't reacting to, they acted like they didn't have to take a loss at all. That's how I took it. And then when I was talking to them, I still had in the back of my mind that something's not right.
With convincing evidence being shared during the YNW Melly trial showing that he's likely guilty, his lawyers then changed the game plan. They knew they had to get the attention off of YNW Melly, which is why they then switched their game plan to practically snitching on YNW Bortlen, which in the end could then cause YNW Bortlen to snitch on YNW Melly to protect himself, which is exactly why the prosecutors want them both on trial at the same time. As it all started after the judge declared the mistrial.
And believe the jury inquiry form, it indicates that after further discussions, reviewing the evidence and speaking freely amongst the jurors, we are still unable to reach a unanimous decision. So at this time, what I am going to do is just declare a mistrial. The case was mistried. And again, I want to thank you very much for your time and attention. It's very much appreciated. You're free to go. Thank you, ladies.
Then a report would go to share YNW Bortlen tweets a mysterious message on the same day YNW Melly's mistrial was declared, where his tweet would share, "Mind games don't work on people like me." So during the entire Melly trial, Melly's lawyers were playing mind games with the jury, hinting towards Bortlen being the guilty one. And now YNW Bortlen is subtweeting the mind games phrase, as even on the opening statement 30 minutes into day 1 of the YNW Melly trial, Melly's own lawyer revealed that Bortlen is the one that had powder residue on his hands.
Melly's lies, those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he has discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket. Not Cortland Henry. There were 3 phones.
He also revealed that YNW Bortlen was the one lying to the feds all along. He was also the one with powder residue on his hands, indicating that he used a firearm on this night. However, this wouldn't be the end of Bortlen's evidence getting brought up either. We would then see another forensic scientist that covered the passings go into detail on Bortlen with his hands.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of heart residue and 2 two-component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of heart residue and 1 two-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was heart residue present on the hands.
This is why the prosecutors want them both at the same time, as YNW Melly's lawyers won't be able to continue doing this in the next trial if YNW Bortlen is literally sitting beside Melly in that courtroom. Because if not, Bortlen might have no other option but to snitch on YNW Melly if Melly's lawyers are going to continue putting this on him. This is without even mentioning the recent news of regarding O-Block resident Jay Hood. A friend of King Von would go to reveal something unexpected during an interview, as King Von may have mentioned a little too much to a group of people that are located in O-Block.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was 2 friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walter Bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his 2 friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
As he revealed information that we never even knew, involving Sack Chaser and Juvie going after Melly for financial gain, trying to get the most amount of money possible out of him. You almost want to fully believe him too, as if you knew anything about King Von, he never lied when it came to street stuff. As King Von also made a song with Melly titled Rolling, they were really good friends. Not even to mention the famous video of Dirk and King Von on the phone with Melly while in jail.
Bust, you got 10 piece. Bust harder than mine. It's me. It's the It's y'all. I say you got 10 piece. Strong.
It will be very interesting if the interview of Jay Hood stating to the world that YNW Melly did it will be used in the upcoming YNW Melly trial, as the prosecutors are looking for more evidence to use, because the existing evidence they used against Melly is already concerning, starting with the lead detective revealing a text message of YNW Melly admitting to doing the crime.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
And could you please stand and point on the right side of the screen exactly which parts you're saying where the YNW Melly account says, I did that?
I did that. This is the thread ID. This is the text. This is the author. And this is the recipient. Then you come down here, same thing. The ID is for the actual message, which is just specific that one message. Then the thread ID is the actual continuing message.